talk about the taxation of crypto mining, proof of stake, proof of work.
A lot of people don't think that they need to pay taxes on crypto and mining.
Well, they're gonna find out when
All these viewers right now watching live.
they're gonna find out after if they have accounts at Coinbase. There's been John Doe summonses. So the IRS. I already have a client that let me know that he was notified by Coinbase that they've given his name to the IRS. So if you have an
Coinbase
account,
is giving out names.
they have to. They got summonsed under a John Doe summons. Anyone who had $20,000 of Bitcoin from 2013 to 15 in transactions will their name will be disclosed to the IRS. So if they've reported to the IRS, they have nothing to worry about. But they haven't. They got to amend their returns now.
So this should be an alert.
This is serious stuff. Yeah, it's serious, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It's actually not very difficult to account for it. There's a lot of some really good apps. The exchanges provide some really good info. People just need to know and be educated that they have to report it. But right now, I want to talk about the taxation of mining. So I get this question a lot. A lot of people are into mining. I actually have an employee, believe it or not, who started mining. He's only 16 now. He does some part-time work for us. He started mining at 13 years old, and he mined started with Bitcoin and then went to different cryptos, and he made a lot of money. And like most people, he had no idea about the taxation of mining and how the IRS treats it. So this is the impetus for this video, is really to tackle the taxation of mining. So there's really two ways you can mine cryptos, right? There's proof of work and proof of stake. And proof of work is Bitcoin, right? It takes up a lot of energy, a lot of computer energy to solve all these mathematical equations and get these transactions verified and get them on a digital ledger or blockchain, so we know that the transaction is legitimate and is verified. And both proof of stake and proof of work have a 51% verification threshold, where you want to get you want to have that number to make sure that the transaction is verified. But proof of work is interesting because obviously we've heard about the issue with electricity, or the problems with China, and how people are moving to Canada and different countries, take advantage of cheaper electricity so they could mine Bitcoins and other cryptos more economically. But there's a concern with the proof of work. There's a concern that there's fewer and fewer miners out there, so there's a bigger chance of abuse because there's less people doing the verification because it's becoming less profitable. And that can create abuses. Once we get past that 51% threshold, it could be a big issue. So proof of scope has gotten a lot of attention, whether it's through Dash or Neo, who offers a gas token, basically, or even Ethereum that may go to a proof of scope. And again, I'm just a tax lawyer. I'm a crypto investor. I've been doing it for many years, but I'm Jeff. I'm not a computer engineer. So I'll leave the whole mechanics of proof of scope to the experts, but I want to get into the taxation of it. So we know under 2014-21, crypto mining is treated as ordinary income. So if you get a Bitcoin, you get a transaction fee or an Ethereum for mining the crypto and putting the transaction on the blockchain, that's subject to tax. So the value of that coin or token you receive is ordinary income. It's like you got a stock option. You pay tax on the value of that option. Same thing. You pay tax on the value of the token you received. That's subject to ordinary income. It's not subject to capital gains. It's not subject to short-term and long-term capital gains. It's subject to ordinary income, which is your income tax bracket. So beware. A lot of people are aware of this, and they say, well, mining's profitable. I just have to reduce my costs and my expenses by energy, computer costs. Once I get the token or the coins, I'm home free. No, you got to pay tax on the value of what you receive, and that's ordinary income. And then when you exchange what you received, either a transaction fee or a token for either fiat or another crypto, guess what? There's another transaction. But that second transaction is subject to capital gains, because now you're exchanging an asset you received for another asset, whether it's US dollars, cryptos, and that would be capital gains. But initially, you'd have ordinary income. So with proof of stake, the issue is, well, what is proof of stake? Is it mining? Is it something else? I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people will make the argument it's kind of akin to mining because it is a verification system. Some website sources even call proof of stake mining. And other people I've talked to said, no, it's more akin to a dividend because you're just putting your cryptos you own, you're staking it like you're putting it into an escrow account, and you're basically saying, here, I'm putting everything I have out there, and I'm going to use this to verify my transaction. So why would I screw this up and lie? Because I'm going to lose everything I've put out there, and it's going to devalue the coin if there's abuses. So that's the concept, and that will let me, it will pick me to based off the coins I own and the amount, whether it's 1,000 for Dash or based off the other cryptos I own. It will allow my stake to put the transaction on the blockchain. So that's interesting. There's no block rewards with proof of stake, but there are transaction fees. So the question is, are those transaction fees mining or is it something else? I don't know. I think a good argument can be made it is mining and subject to ordinary income. I've had clients plead and say, no, it's more like a dividend. I don't know. I mean, notice 2014-21 really just talked about capital gains and mining. Things change, obviously, pretty fluidly. So maybe they'll create a new revenue ruling and talk about proof of stake mining, whether a dividend tax, something like that would apply. I don't know if capital gains would. It seems to me it's either like mining or a dividend. I don't know. I think a lot of people will take the position it's mining to be conservative and safe. I probably would myself. Since a lot of people describe it as like a quasi-mining, a different way of mining, a different way, maybe a more cost-effective, energy-efficient way to mine, maybe a safer way. We'll see what Ethereum does. But if people have information on this, let us know. We'll update this video as we get more guidance from the IRS or other sources. But proof of work, proof of stake, whatever you're doing mining-wise, definitely proof of work. We know 2014-21, you're looking at ordinary income. If you're doing a retirement account, you're looking at something called unrelated business taxable income, UBTI, which taxes business income in an IRA at 37%. And one way around is a blocker structure, which will tax it at 21%. So you will still pay some tax, but you'll go from 37 to 21, which isn't horrible. Whereas if you do it outside of an IRA, ordinary income. Whereas if you bought and sell cryptos outside of an IRA, capital gains, short term, ordinary income, long term over 12 months, 15% or 20 plus if you're a high income earner. Whereas if you bought and sell cryptos in a IRA or self-directed IRA, 401k, no tax. You defer it, or in a Roth, never pay tax. So that's the beauty of using an IRA to buy and sell cryptos. If you're doing mining, check out 2014-21, proof of work, proof of stake. I think it's probably mining, but I'm going to wait for more guidance. We'll see. I mean, all this changes as different variations, whether it's getting a gas token from a Neo or a Dash type of proof of stake. See what Ethereum does. I just think IRS would probably treat this as mining since it's some quasi-verification process, but we shall see. I'll look for more guidance, but this stuff is certainly moving pretty quick, and it's sometimes difficult as a tax attorney to catch up, but we're doing our best, and we're trying to get people educated and give all of you the best information we can so that you can properly report your transactions to the IRS.